learn today's incredible transfer news as it's now official. We have reached a pre-contract agreement to sign Christopher Nkunku for next season. But that's not it, you guys. Currently, we are in advanced talks to sign Gvardiol as part of the deal to sign Nkunku. And to move on, we have even more updates surrounding our pursuits to sign Rafael Leao. Tons of things to break down and discuss, you guys. It's looking incredibly exciting at this club right now. If you like today's video, smash that like button and please share your thoughts and opinions below in the comment section. And to get straight into things, so right now, let's break down these Nkunku reports. As you guys should know, throughout the entirety of last summer, I was only advocating for one man and one man only, and that was Christopher Nkunku. For me, I think this guy has the ability to upgrade our attack. For me, he is the perfect blend and mixture of creativity as well as goal scoring. He is a match winner as well as a very incredible creative presence in the team as well. And for me, this is the type of profile that this team has sorely been missing out for a very long time. And I really feel like this is the type of signing that shows like strong statements of intent from Todd Boehly. And I think the fan base will also absolutely love him because he's very fun to watch, incredibly technical and skillful on the ball as well. So before I continue to get carried away in gas, let's break down the reports so we learn how we actually got this deal signed to begin with. Of course, to start things, we already know that Nkunku did his secret medical all the way back in August. And since then, it's come out today, it's official now, Nkunku has reached a pre-contract agreement with us to sign for us at the end of this season. Now, the question is, how exactly did we get here? How exactly were we able to get Nkunku to sign a pre-contract agreement? Now, it comes down to his clause and the money we've paid. We do know that once it turns, January 1st, 2023, he does have a 60 million release clause which becomes activated. That means that any club that bids 60 million euros, which is around like 53 million pounds, can talk directly to the player and persuade him to sign for them. Now here's what we've done now. We don't want to have any competition for him. We know that there's tons of clubs in this country as well as lots of Champions League clubs trying to sign Nkunku. So what we've done to place ourselves at the front to get this deal over the line is we paid more money than his release clause, of course, to get this deal over the line. For me, I absolutely love this. And I think for me, it just displays like a very strong message to Nkunku that we have a real strong belief in you. We see you as the main guy to take our team to the next level. And we see you as like a key player that we have a lot of faith and trust in. On one hand too, it lets RB Leipzig know as well, listen, we want to continue that relationship with you. Of course, we get on very well. We're going to pay you extra money now to get your blessing to get this deal secured and wrapped up before the January window hits. And of course, the main reason too is the fact that now we've beaten competition now and we've set a strong statement to other players we're looking to sign, as well as our rivals across Europe, that we are here to do business. For me, I like the confidence in which we're moving in. How often have we really paid over the odds to bring in a player to this club? Under the old regime, we were going into constant negotiations to sign them for the smallest discounts as possible. And sometimes in the long run, it always ends up biting us in the arse. So I do like that under the new regime now, if we have strong confidence and belief in a certain profile, we will pay whatever money we have to do to bring them to our club. That's how big teams operate. That's how big teams should move. We have a bit more context and details from the story. We understand that Nkunku really likes the project that we've sold to him and sees us as a club to take his career to the next level, which is incredibly exciting to hear as well. And Nkunku is seen as a fundamental part of our attacking rebuild. Imagine this, you guys. We're going to be seeing guys potentially like Pulisic and Ziyech leaving. Who knows, maybe Broyers, Kais, potentially. You don't know what's going to happen, but I think it simply comes down to this. When I look at my rivals around me, when you look at the depth of options they have in attack, look at Man City, for example. There's a reason why you need to have, tons of profiles for the same level, constantly competing against each other. That's the type of energy we need to have at this club. And for me, Nkunku is the sign and start of amazing things to come. Now, originally for this video, I was planning on adding like a big in-depth tactical analysis on Nkunku to get you guys prepared on what he can bring and offer to our club. But instead, I'm going to release this as a separate video tomorrow to just have more details and more information for you guys. And one of the reasons too is that we have big updates on other future targets for the next few windows. And I guess this segues in very nicely to the next story. And let's discuss the big news and updates on Gvardiol. Now, I wasn't expecting this Gvardiol news whatsoever. This is an exclusive report from Matt Law from The Telegraph, and it seems like we are now trying to do a double deal with RB Leipzig to sign Nkunku and Gvardiol. And what makes things incredibly exciting about this Gvardiol news is that his release clause has finally been, I guess, revealed. Maybe revealed isn't the most accurate term to use because, it has been like existing information now for the past few seasons that his release clause is set at around 50 million euros, which is around 43.7 million pounds. I guess now this lets us see the entire situation behind our interest and our efforts to sign him before the window closed in like new light, a new context. RB Leipzig offered him a new contract extension, obviously giving him more money to persuade him to remain with them for one more season. Now you might be thinking, Nini, back during the end of the summer window, we offered around 78 million pounds and told RB Leipzig, listen, take the money now, you get to keep him for one more season, and we'll sign you afterwards. But I guess it simply comes down to this too. When you secure Champions League football, that is such a massive cash windfall for you that I guess you can accept to take losses in the short term, knowing that Champions League football is really giving you those riches in the long term. Of course, if they accepted an extra like 30 million for Gvardiol, how's it going to benefit them if that could affect their chances of securing Champions League football for this season? So I completely understand things from a sporting point of view, and if we have the opportunity now to sign Gvardiol for around 44 million pounds, of course, that makes things even better for us. We've been in advanced talks with Gvardiol now for a very, very long time. He understands what the deal is. He knows how desperate we are to sign him as well too. And now that we've signed Nkunku on a pre-contract agreement, we can turn all our focus now on securing the deal now to sign Gvardiol. And I guess right now I want to give some thoughts and opinions behind this story because it gets you thinking about quite a few things now. And I guess, probably like the main guy to talk about is Levi Colwill. Now earlier today, there was a very interesting report that came out from Caso Messato from Italy discussing Levi Colwill's future. Now we know that De Zerbi is the new Brighton manager. He has remained with keeping the same back three, Dunk, Webster and Veltman that Graham Potter was using before. It makes sense, of course, they've had a very strong start to the season and you don't normally change your defensive options just like that. But the reality simply comes down to this too. In this report, it states that Colwill would still like to represent us, but at the same time, at his age, he wants guarantees of first team football. Now he has to win a first team spot in this Brighton team. Let's see what happens as the season continues to develop. But in this report, it gave us some context behind tons of interest coming up from Serie A clubs, most notably Napoli, who saw him as a Koulibaly replacement, AC Milan, and Atalanta, who are like one of the favourites to try and sign him in case Cole decides to move. And now when you conflate the report of Gvardiol interest, does Colwill really have like a long-term future here if we're looking to sign Gvardiol in his position? Because in that sense, stylistically, they have a very similar game, very similar profile. Colwill is also very good at, pushing forward into the midfield lines and making those underlapping runs in the final third too. But I guess to keep things objective and fair, I want to see things from a pros and cons point of view. Let's get the cons out of the way first. Yeah, I think one con is the fact that, okay, Cole sees us signing Gvardiol and he's like, listen, last season you sent me on loan and signed for Fana instead. You're doing the same thing again. I don't have much faith and trust that you guys have like a real long-term plan for me. I want to take my career into my own hands and have control of that, knowing the fact that once you secure a permanent move away, that gives you that strong possibility of really securing first team football because now clubs actually have a reason to play you week in, week out. Now that's like a cynical way of seeing things, and if the worst case scenario did happen, I'd like to think that we have things like a, like release clause or buyback option inserted in any deal in which Colwill leaves the club. But on the other hand, let's see things from a pro's point of view. Seeing how Graham Potter is using that back three, I think Gvardiol would be the Cucurella replacement in that back three. Gvardiol is renowned for his ability to push forward into the final third, his ball progression, one of the best ball playing defenders for his age in Europe as well. And I could easily see a situation in the future where we had a very multi-purpose back three that has Gvardiol on the left, Colwill playing in the middle, as well as Fofana on the right hand side. Because you've got to see it like this. In the build-up phase, we probably turn into like a back three, but when we're attacking, Gvardiol will kind of be that makeshift fullback. Reece James is pushing forward too, And Cole was occupying spaces on the left-hand side with Fofana in that temporary back two. I could see that working, and thinking about Cole, Fofana and Gvardiol as a back three, this is world-class potential in the making. This is unreal. This is the platform and foundation that could potentially be at this club for over 10 years. That's how impactful and incredible a back three like this could be. And you'd imagine that guys at this club who understand the power of, high potential youth and, trying to improve them and grow them and develop them. It would be kind of crazy to not try and develop a back three like this. So, at the same time, of course, Cole has to win his sport in Brighton. Let's hope he can do that. But there is strong potential here for what we could become in the next few seasons. So that is the Gvardiol reports out of the way. Let's now move on to ending things on the big story surrounding updates on Rafael Leao. Now we have even more reports coming out from Italy, and I guess it's no surprise considering the fact that we are playing AC Milan at 8 PM this Wednesday, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that battle between Reece James and Rafael Leao. And in my opinion, I kind of feel like Reece James is going to continue to show why he is the #1 right back in world football, in my opinion. I think Leao is going to have an incredibly difficult time. And for me, it simply comes down to this man, Leao. If you can't beat him, come and join him. And I think that with Nkunku, if we can wrap up Gvardiol as well too, we're putting out a strong message that we are the next big club with big potential that you want to sign for. And I think Leao isn't looking like an impossible signing for us. But anyway, let's tackle these reports. We know that Todd Boehly has a very good relationship now with Jorge Mendes. Currently at this point in time, we're trying to capture Portimonense, which, if I'm saying that right, of course, a Portuguese club, and we're trying to sign them as our feeder club, essentially. Jorge Mendes, of course, is playing his part as a consultant in that deal. Todd Boehly has gone to him for advice many a time. They have a good working relationship, and currently, of course, Mendes is doing his bit to really persuade his client in Leao to sign for us. In Italy right now, they're suggesting that AC Milan are reaching a standstill over a contract extension with Leao. It really comes down to the fact that Leao still owes compensation money to Sporting Lisbon, and currently AC Milan are holding talks to try and get Lisbon to reduce that compensation fee. I can't really imagine why Lisbon would decide to do that, knowing the fact that if Leao was to be sold, they're going to get their money back instantly just like that. Leao's situation gets fixed just like that because we'll cover that difference. And of course, we end up winning, of course, by having one of the best young attacking players in European football representing us and playing for us, which I think has to be the goal because we need to have, X-factor players in our attack now to make that difference in the final thirds. Reports in Italy suggest that AC Milan won't accept any figure under the value of 100 million to sign Leao. His contract expires in 2024. He has like 18 months currently before expiration date, and then once it gets to the summer period, 12 months left. If Milan want to get that 100 million, they'll have to agree a fee, I think, sometime in January. So we will be coming back in January, and as we get closer to January, more reports will intensify and intensify. The big news is, though, is that out of all the interested parties looking to sign Leao, we are #1. We are the leaders out of the pack, hoping to sign him and capture him. And I guess it makes a ton of sense now. I mean, we were the only club to actually make an official bid to try and sign him. I'm looking at like our other contemporaries across Europe. Madrid's are secured on that left-hand side. Bayern Munich are secured. Barcelona, I feel, could be an option, but they seem to be quite secure at this point in time as well too. And City have their guys. So I think that the fact that we have such a good relationship now with Jorge Mendes, Todd Boehly, of course, is proving that he has the money to back his vision and his demands as well. Something can happen here. I'm feeling optimistic. And knowing the fact that Nkunku is our guy for next season, knowing the fact that Gvardiol is being spoken to as well, it does feel like we're witnessing unprecedented times here. Very exciting times. And I think if we can get Leao alongside Nkunku, good lords, my guys, then I think we're on that path of really getting back. So on that note, I'm going to wrap things up, keep things moving. There is going to be an Nkunku reaction video coming out later today, so stay tuned for that. And of course, preview and Nkunku analysis coming out tomorrow. I'm EFC, this is BlueLionsTV. Catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.